What is up, everyone? Welcome to Nickel City Mafia. Welcome to the Rush Hour. I mean, another big win, 5 games in a row by the Buffalo Bills. That's incredible. If you'd have told me beginning of the season we'd be 8-2 at this time, I'd be like, "What you drinking? What you smoking?" But here we are at 8-2, and joining me tonight to talk about all this is Brett McDurphy from the Go Bills podcast, Mr. Sean Kula from the Red, White, and Bills, and my co-host Jake Podger should be joining us sometime soon, taking care of the little one, and he'll be on as soon as he can. But as I mentioned, big win, and I feel like we got to start. Usually, we start with the offensive side of things after these wins, but I feel like the defense really deserves a lot of the flowers for this victory. And Sean, they're not the steel curtain. Who is the steel curtain, right? They're not the 85 Bears, but
Right.
they are super opportunistic. And you just always feel, I think they're still, if they're not number one, they're right there near the top in turnover differential. And but let me throw it to you. Talk to me about what you saw in this defense. Some of the things you like, some of the things you may not have liked, but let me throw it to you, buddy.
Yeah, like you said, they were getting after it today, man. They gave up that one really long rush for 58 yards to Jonathan Taylor. And I know you can't really take it away, but he had 21 rushes for 114 yards. And if you take that 58-yarder away, he had 20 carries for 55 yards. So for the most part, we did a great job stopping the run. And then, as you mentioned, we were getting after it in the past game. 3 interceptions. We forced a fumble. We got 4 sacks, 4 turnovers, and like Teron Johnson said, we knew the offense had some injuries, and we wanted to go out there and help set the tone and help them out a little bit. And they really did that because obviously it's not sustainable to win off of 4 turnovers, but they did what we needed today, and they stepped up in big moments.
Maybe here. Join us. There he is. There's Mr. Podger. How you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Sorry I'm late. I
All
was
right.
tending to the little one. You know how that
Oh,
goes, Sean, huh? You know how that
Oh
goes
yeah,
too, Mike.
definitely.
yeah,
Brett,
totally
soon you will
understandable.
too.
Yep, it's all good training for Brett. But yeah, we're talking about the defense, Jake, because we really think they deserve. Like I felt they deserve most of the flowers for this game,
Oh yeah.
and so we're starting there. Sean did a little, just started things off talking about them a little bit. But let me throw it to you, Brett, to kind of get your take on what you saw in this defense, and who shined for you today. You're on mute, buddy. You're on mute. You're pulling a me. That's me.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what I'm
pulling to
saying.
you.
All
Hey,
right.
I will start off with a defensive lineman that just came onto the team and a big turnout from him, Quentin Jefferson. Let's start it off there. What a great showing from him, having a sack in this game and getting his presence known early and often. I want to say he played about 15 snaps today and just was in the backfield getting into Joe Flacco's face as well as getting some defensive stops in the run game. Helped us out a lot in the situations where we really needed him. And it was great to see him out there. And then on the other side, I loved what I saw from Dorian Williams. I mean, good things from him as well. And obviously, I'm going to save some flowers for some of the other guys because I want to make sure that Jake and Sean, as well as you, Mike, can get some other guys in there. But for me, the two guys that I saw, Quentin Jefferson and Dorian Williams.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I think it was Sean mentioned 4 sacks. So we had, let's see here, we had Greg Rousseau had a nice strip sack. That was a beautiful play. Taron Johnson got a sack. It was fantastic to see that. If you were named Johnson today, you were balling out. You were balling out. We had 2 interceptions from the Johnson brothers today. AJ Epinesa had a nice sack late in the game. I thought that was a beautiful. Stayed with his, put the pressure on and then just let Flacco roll into his arms for the most part. Played that beautifully. And then yes, Quentin Jefferson, new addition. And Jake, let me throw it to you because I think this was a guy during free agency that I was like, maybe this is a guy we can bring over. He had a really good year last year. He's played for the Jets and did very well for them. Now, I don't remember him being on the Bills. So talk to us about Quentin because he had a pretty good game.
Yeah, he really did. So he was with Buffalo back in 2020. He was okay. I don't think he necessarily lived up to the hype that he was bringing from Seattle. He was a very solid player in Seattle during his first stint. But then he comes to Buffalo in 2020, and I don't know if it was like the best fit for him at the time. But yeah, he went back to I think he went to Vegas, then he went back to Seattle, then he was with the Jets, was recently with the Browns. And he did some really, really good things for the Jets. Actually, he probably had his best year as a pro, last year with the Jets. Did some really good things, 6 sacks. But yeah, he comes in today, and it's easy plug and play because it's a similar scheme, right? So he fits right in, kind of fits the bill. And now, if you remember back in 2020, Sean McDermott wasn't calling defensive plays, nor was Bobby Babbage. So back then it was Leslie Frazier. So um, I'm sure there's been, little tweaks made to the defense, but overall it's still a Sean McDermott run defense. But yeah, just a fantastic job by him. And really as a D tackle or defensive lineman in general, I mean, run and hit the quarterback, right? I mean, do what you got to do to make plays in the backfield. But yeah, love to see it. Huge impact play on 4th down. So yeah, excited about that signing. At first I think we were a little like, oh, Quentin Jefferson, really? We're doing this again? Jordan Phillips, same deal, right? But I thought both actually played pretty damn well.
No, I didn't know. I didn't notice Jordan Phillips, so maybe you saw him. I
Yeah.
didn't. But Quentin Jefferson,
Well,
yeah.
So I saw a few plays where it's like he's just taking up space, more or less, and that's not really his thing. He's more of a 3 tech, I think, even though he is 6'6", 330, right? But I love what he tweeted after the game. He tweeted at Zaire Franklin and basically just said that they beat their ass pretty good today. So welcome back, Jordan Phillips. He brings a little attitude to this D line. Love to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Cam Lewis, by the way, I see a Trek reviewer and Trek reviewer. When Cam Lewis has a game, I'm gonna mention it. I thought Cam Lewis was fantastic and made some big plays. And man, he's just. I mean, this is why I feel like they were comfortable with letting. Who's the guy? Mike Williams? Was it Mike Edwards? Mike Edwards, right?
Mike
They let him
Edwards.
go.
Yep.
I feel like this is why the Bills were comfortable with letting him go because they have a guy like Cam Lewis who's really, he's not a starter, but he comes in and situational and both and also on the special teams, been doing fantastic. So Cam Lewis, flowers for you, my friend.
I love it. I do want to real
go
quick
ahead.
too, Mike. So I was at Penn State this past weekend.
Okay.
I went to the whiteout game, and listen, Austin Johnson is a former Penn State player.
Nice.
Okay, this guy has 2 career interceptions, the same amount of career interceptions that Sauce Gardner has. So want to give him some flowers. If he keeps up this pace, it's every other game. It seems like lately for him, he's getting an interception. So just really excited to see it. I know, Sean, you weren't super overwhelmed when we initially signed him, but he's been balling out lately. So really, really nice rotational player on that D line.
Yeah, he's tied for the team lead in picks too.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I kind of hope he gets a few more so he can. And it was on the same exact play too. It's like his he knows when a screen's coming and he hides behind people and just jumps out the last second. It's like that's the second time he did it now, so I really think it's planned. But yeah, I mean, you got it, man. I wasn't happy because I felt like we needed more, like star talent in that position, and he's been doing a great job. So I'm glad to be wrong there.
It's good. I see Big L out there today. It's good to see you, Big L. We haven't seen you in a while. I feel like 10 o'clock's a little late for Big L, Jake, and I don't know if he stays up that late. I won't see him very often, but when we do, I'm happy. I'm excited. So thank you for joining us, Big L.
Just got
Trek
back from the
review.
Bahamas, by the way.
Oh, I mean, he's living life. He's living
know.
life. Always
Yep.
some type of trip going on, and that maybe that's why we don't see him because he's traveling all the time. But good to see you out there, Big Al. He says not Douglas today. He wasn't happy with Rasul Douglas's play. Oops, I was bringing that up real quick. What do you think about that, Sean? You agree with him?
Yes, and I know the way we run our defense, we give a lot of cushion, but then it's like sometimes you see the corners playing really well and like really they don't really give up anything. And today it just seemed like every time there was a big catch, it was on Douglas. But could have been a bad day for him. Ed and I Mitchell is really good at separation, so maybe it was just good day for him, bad day for Douglas. But yeah, it definitely wasn't. It wasn't his best day, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to check PFF tomorrow to see what what kind of score they give him. I feel like Flacco's still got a strong arm. I mean, he threw 3 interceptions. He could have thrown maybe 2 more as well. But and I was surprised, Jake, that they came out throwing the ball. I thought it was just going to be heavy run, but it felt like it was more of a heavy pass. And we'll sprinkle in the run here. Were you surprised by that?
Very surprised, especially because Jonathan Taylor had 107 yards in the first quarter, and then like the whole other 3 quarters, he only had like 7 more yards. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Pretty impressive, by the way. I did see the stat. It was like 107 yards in the first quarter, but then after that, 5 carries for 7 yards. So he didn't even average. I mean, it was like 1 point something yards a carry, which pretty damn good by our defense there.
Yeah, Sean had mentioned he had a 58-yard run to the which pretty much gave him most of those numbers. And you take that away, they did a pretty good job. But you hate saying that if they take that away, right? Because it happened, and it's happened a couple times. Like we've been giving up some big runs, but I don't know. Let me just ask you, Sean. I don't want to be very negative on this defense because they were the ones that really pulled this one out. But those runs to the right, to me, it looked like Damar Hamlin took a bad angle there. What was your thought on that? And what's going on? Whenever we're giving up too many of those long plays.
Yeah, that one specifically, Hill was getting in position to make a play, and then Taron Johnson kind of got blocked in by a tight end right into Hill, and then again, like you said, DeMar took a bad angle on that because they ran that play a few times and we did better stopping it after that. But that specific one, Taron got blocked down into Hill and they ran into each other, and it just made a broken play. And then, like you said, DeMar kind of took a bad angle, which he usually does. And I'm, he's a good tackler, but it seems like whenever there's a one-on-one situation like that, he always takes bad angles and looks kind of slow. But yeah, it was that one play, and a little bit frustrating because we pride ourselves on not giving up explosive plays, but then we still do it at least a couple times a game. So I wish we could get rid of that completely. But overall, I was happy with how we stopped the run besides that play.
Yeah, I see Chad out there. Chad the Chief, thanks for joining us. The 9-0 Chiefs. Man, my goodness, I wasn't watching the game, but I'm keeping an eye on it. As always, it's the Chiefs. Why wouldn't you? And I see that the Broncos just called a timeout and they're about to kick a field goal. Now I don't turn that game on, but I'm just I'm on my phone, just checking, refreshing ESPN. And I'll be down. The game ends and they win. I'm like, what the heck just happened? I had to go to the Discord and the guy said they blocked it. So, 9-0 Chiefs. I kind of want it that way, Chad. I mean, because if there's going to be a team that knocks them off for the undefeated season, let's let it be Buffalo in Buffalo this week. But
That's right.
Thanks for joining us, Chad. Don't know where Weston is because I'm sure he wants to come in here and chat a little bit about his team. But 9-0 Chiefs travel to Buffalo against the 8-2 Bills. And guess what? Both our boys down at the bottom of the screen there. Both our boys, Mr. Jake Podger and Sean Kula, are going to
baby.
be there. They have a very good record when they go together. I think they've only been in the one game together, but it's 1-0. Let's go.
Yep.
And let's see. Chad says, I was driving home and had to find out through the game tracker. Yep.
Oh, wow, Chad. You had to be like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe it. That's awesome.
Chad, he doesn't watch games. He will not watch them. He feels he jinxes the team. So it's always radio or I don't know what he's just the audio piece of things. But good to see you, Chad. Thanks for joining us. And we'll definitely plan this week because I've said when we get to play the Chiefs, I want to get you and Weston on for the pregame. So let's plan something. So let's talk to Weston in the Discord and figure out a good night to get you boys on. It'd be a fun little podcast there. All right, let's get back to the Bills here. And again, great game. I mean, we get a pick six. Get a pick six from Taron Johnson. I mean, you want to start a game. And that was after we had just had a 3-and-out, right? Frustrating. We get the ball to start the game, 3-and-out. I'm like, dang, what the heck? This seems to happen way too often. And then the defense just shows up and makes a pick six. Taron Johnson on a beautiful play. So, again, back to the defense. Sean, the only thing, the only other guy, we talked about him last week. Again, he was only on a stat sheet for one tackle. It was early. I didn't see him a lot more. That's Ed Oliver, and I got to say, Matt Collins has the same number of tackles for him.
That's crazy.
Matt Collins has one tackle as well. Sean, what's going on with our boy Ed? Was he there? Was I just not seeing it? Was I not watching the D line close enough? Is he making those plays? And I'm just like, it's just me not understanding what he's doing for us.
Yeah, he had a pretty good day today. I think he was getting a lot of pressures on the quarterback. He made a couple tackles. He's second in the team in pressures behind Greg Rousseau, so he's still doing his job. Again, it's just because it's not in the stat sheet, a lot of people don't notice it. But yeah, he did it pretty good today.
All right. All right, let's see here. Who else can we talk about? So let's give you some numbers here. Dorian Williams was the leading tackler. He had 9 tackles. Terrell Bernard, so our linebackers, 9 tackles as well. Taylor Rapp with 7. And when Jonathan Taylor took that 58-yarder, I thought he was gone. I'm like, there's no one there. And then sure enough, Taylor Rapp shows up. Gotta like what Taylor Rapp's been doing. He had an interception today as well. It was an overthrown ball, but he had the concentrated enough to be able to bring it in when it was deflected his way. So another good game from Taylor Rapp, Jake. And
I'll tell you what, ever since he put that Guardian cap on, he looks like Superman out there. Crazy.
Let's go. It was Kazoo. Gotta call him Kazoo. He's the new
Mark Kelso.
Mark Kelso, yeah. He's the new Mark Kelso. Maybe that's a thing. I mean, that's not a bad. It looks like it's a little different than they used to wear. And it looked in the old days, it was just a big foam thing that went over the helmet. I feel like they've, with technology advancing a little bit, it looks a little different, but hey, that might be a thing to do. Why is Tua not wearing that, right? Dolphins fans might want to check into one of those.
Yeah, he was asked about that. It was you would think just to protect himself, and hey, that's his choice. Whatever he wants to do, he can do. But for Taylor Rapp, it just seems like he feels invincible with it on. I mean, he's ready to lay the lumber now. He's not afraid to get a little dirty, and his coverage has been a lot better. He's just been a totally different player ever since he threw that on. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but I'm
really
here for it.
Takes good angles, makes tackles. I mean, just wonderful. Brett, haven't heard from you in a while. Who else do you want to talk about on this defense before we go over to the offensive side of things? Who we missing? What are we missing?
Well, one thing I want to do is, I kind of want to do a letter of apology to the interior defensive line for the Buffalo Bills this week. I feel like it's kind of been a little bit of a letdown the past couple of weeks, but this week, man, Austin Johnson, you saw Quentin Jefferson having some big plays. You also saw a few other guys sprinkled in there as well, making plays. This is an apology to the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills. We had to call you out this week, and you stepped up and showed out. And I'm happy to say that, this may be a very good rotation for the Buffalo Bills. Probably one of their best interior lines that they've had. And Jake, you mentioned earlier about the 2020 Buffalo Bills. That was the COVID year where Star Lotulelei was out that year. He opted out. And when we had Quentin Jefferson the first time, we also thought that he was going to be the starter for the Bills. Unfortunately, Vernon Butler was the starter back then.
Yeah.
And you look back to that, and Quentin Jefferson kind of was in a difficult situation because he's more of in my opinion, a 3-tech defensive lineman, kind of can mix around the defensive room, being a defensive end and a defensive tackle. They put him in a 1-tech situation, and now that kind of hurt them. But when you have a guy like Daquan Jones that's healthy right now, you have Ed Oliver in the mix as well. Now you can mix him around the defensive line and get him in situations that is comfortable for him instead of playing a position that he is not known for playing. So I'm glad to see him out there, and he's going to mix into this defensive line room very well, get into the backfield, make some stops in the run game, and also get some sacks on the board for the Bills. And this line is going to be even better as the playoffs come around.
Yeah. Jake, you did mention Jordan Phillips, and he did have two tackles, and he had a quarterback hit. So he did show up. Weston, good to see you joining us, man. You're a little late. What's going on? Where you been? I thought you'd come over here and start talking about your 9-0 Chiefs, but I was telling Chad, pick a night. You and Chad work it out. Tell us what night we'll be available and get a little podcast going with you guys, a little show. preview show with some Chiefs fans and some Bills fans. Always like when we have the other representation from the other side. So, been looking forward to this one all year, guys. I think that we're going to pivot over to the offensive side of things. Again, defense, Flowers. I'm sure there's going to be, when we get to the zeros and heroes, there's probably be some many heroes on the defensive side for sure. But let's pivot over to the offense. And again, I always like to start with the offensive line. Our man Sean Kula, who every week on his show does film study of that O line. And Sean, I listened to a couple podcasts after the game. And I feel like the default standard answer whenever Josh Allen seems to have a bad game is that the offensive line wasn't given many time, which is just not true. But that seems to be the default, the standard answer for a lot of these podcasters. That's not true. But tell me from your, and it's hard to say what really went down until you see the film, but from the game, from what you were seeing, how did that O-line do today?
I thought they did fantastic, especially pass blocking. They gave Josh a lot of time, and the one sack that they gave up, apparently, it was when Josh was taking off to run, and they said they credited Kwity Paye with the sack. I don't know if that's what they'll actually count, but other than that, I don't even think Josh got hit unless he on that scramble he tried to make a play to Matt Collins. I think he got hit on that one, but that was when the play broke down and he tried to make a play. So overall, man, I thought they did a fantastic job running the ball. We still did well. It seemed maybe early we didn't run as well as we did near the end. But overall, I thought they did even better than last week. And it just seems like every week I put on my last description, brick by brick, every week they're getting even better. And I'm very, very pleased. Hopefully, I know Spencer Brown went back in the game, but hopefully he's okay. He's been having, 2 or 3 of his best weeks, consecutively in his career. And he had another solid week this week. And I think pass blocking wise, I thought last week was their best performance. I think that they might have topped it already this time.
So ESPN has them with 2 sacks for 0 yards. So that is very interesting, right? That's rare. And yeah, you could say that, like that one you're talking about with Kwity Payne, is it?
Kwity
Kwity
Paye.
Paye, yeah.
Yep.
Paye, yeah, that looked like Josh took off, right? So
Yeah.
and
And
then the other one I can't remember. Let me see who they gave a sack to.
Grover Stewart. It
Grover
was.
Stewart.
Yeah.
well, that was the
He's a
one they
big man.
That was the one they counted when Cook ran the wrong way or Josh went the wrong way and Josh ran with it. They called that a sack, which isn't
Right.
it was supposed to be a run play, so I don't count that. I don't know why they did, because clearly it was a run play. So yeah, those two, and especially you can't get sacked for 0 yards. It's a sack. It's only a sack if you're behind the line of scrimmage. So they must have just made a mistake there because Allen got tackled, and that might be corrected. But we'll see. We'll see on the probably tomorrow what PFF says. But yeah, I don't really count those as sacks because, like you said, Mike, Josh took off, and that one, it was just a miss. I'll have to see in the film if the whole line was was blocking to the left in his zone, and Cook went left, then maybe Josh went the wrong way, and that can't be happening.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll be
I will
curious.
say though, Mike,
Yeah.
the penalties with the line, it's been every week, and it's not changing. It's our left tackle who's been outstanding for us, and just drive killers, false starts, holdings, illegal shifts. You can't be doing this anymore. Granted, most of it's on away games, but it's just you can't. You have great play, and then you do all these flags. It's just not. You got to stop doing it.
Yeah, the Bills were penalized 8 times for 54 yards. Definitely got to clean that up for sure. Especially, you, I think Torrance had one, right? I know. I think Dawkins had at least 1 or 2, maybe. I'm not sure, but it's like that's our best guy on the line. Come on now, stop making these things. But Jake, let me go to Big Al. He thought I was watching the old Bills handing off to OJ on first down every set of downs. They have to change that up a little, and yeah. I agree, Big L, because start of the game, we seem to be doing that a lot. 3 and outs, never want to see that. But Jake, I got to throw it to you because you're a guy. When it comes to talking about Josh Allen, you're our guy. And I want to just tell you, this is not a good look. He threw for 280 yards, but dude, he threw 2 interceptions. His QBR rating was 48.4, and his rating His passer rating was 60.6. Not good, Jake. What's going on? Now, don't use the excuses. I know you're going to bring him. No Amari Cooper, no Keon Coleman, and then he loses Dalton Kincaid late in the game. But he wouldn't have lost Dalton Kincaid if he would threw that pass a little better when he's wide open down the field, because that's the play that Kincaid hurt himself. So what's going on with Josh today?
Yeah, you got to hit those. I mean, there's no excuse for that whatsoever. I think sometimes Josh gets back into the habit of trying to do a little too much, and then he gets in his own head, and he'll either underthrow or overthrow a ball. So that does happen, and you've seen it more and more this year, I feel like, just because he doesn't have the weapons that he's had in the past, especially today. But, yeah, the interceptions were, the Kenny Moore interception was a really great job by Kenny Moore coming in and just sniffing that out. Great catch by him. But again, I mean, just sometimes I feel like I don't know if he just gets lazy sometimes or whatever it is. But yeah, you're starting to see some of those old ways pop up every here and there. But then there's moments of brilliance again. It's like this dude avoids sacks like the plague. It's unbelievable how he does it. Just stiff arming these massive defensive linemen, and he just makes something out of nothing. He had his best rushing performance this season today. You know what does suck, and it frustrates me? I feel like every long Josh Allen run, it gets called back with a holding call. I mean, how many of those have we seen this year where it's like, he could have had maybe a 50-yard performance, but because 2 of his long runs got called back, he had 2 carries for 3 yards. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas today, there was only 1 called back, but 50 yards rushing on the day, the rushing touchdown, which finally got us jump-started a little bit. But, yeah, it was a little sloppy at times. It wasn't definitely not his best performance. Still threw for 280 yards, but, you got to clean up the mistakes, and I think we'll be okay. But, yeah, I mean, if you're doing this against the Colts, it's not great. But credit to their defense. They still, even though they let up 30 points, still came to play.
Yeah, for sure. And we're playing the Chiefs next week, so that defense is going to be stout. You can't make these type of plays. We know that. He knows that. I'm sure they'll clean that up and be ready. But Brett, do you feel like I felt like they were forcing it to Curtis Samuel? I feel like they're forcing it on the one interception. I thought that was going to go for a pick six. It should have. I don't know. I think was it Samuel who got an arm on him to kind of trip him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But when that was snapped, Josh was just looking at him like he turned, and it was so far away. It wasn't like it felt like it was further than a normal screen or a normal throw out to the wideout. But I feel like they were forcing it for a bit there. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, Mike. I mean, it seemed like the Bills were just trying to find somebody that was comfortable in the offense, that understood the offense, to be able to get out there. And you saw a couple of times where Tyrell Shavers and Jalen Virgil were out there at the same time. And you saw a little bit of an issue where they were struggling with the chemistry and what route to run. A couple of times they were in the same position, running the same route. Maybe that's something to do with why Curtis Samuel was getting the ball so often in the game. And I felt like they were trying to take out Khalil Shakir in the game as well. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, and he had 6 catches for 58 yards. But I do want to piggyback off of 2 things that were said from Sean and from Jake. Starting off of the offensive line, this is really important. I don't know if you guys know this, but the amount of penalties on the offensive tackles this season, 23 penalties on Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown this season. That's a number that needs to change in the second half of this season. It is awful to see. This is the most penalized offensive tackle group in the NFL right now. And then going back to Jake, you're talking about Josh Allen in this game. I felt like this is a situation where Josh has been struggling quite a bit with decision-making and making those deep throws. But I want to give him a little bit of credit, too. He passed he tied O.J. Simpson for second in the NFL. Second on the Buffalo Bills for the amount of rushing touchdowns. That's something that we have to give him credit for. And it's a prime opportunity for him to get his next touchdown when you guys are at the game. So I want to mention that.
Oh, I like it.
Get that rushing touchdown when you and Sean are in the stadium in front of 70,000 Bills Mafia members. That's going to be great to see. So Let's not forget that, and he will be second on the Buffalo Bills, giving the Bills another opportunity to let go of O.J. Simpson and his past character that he once was, moving on into the new future that we have with Josh Allen. So we can forget about that, and hopefully, I don't want to even say what I'm thinking, but hopefully the Juice's presence is gone in Buffalo, and we can move on and get into a new situation where the curse is dead.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
also, Mike's going to be upset a little bit, but he'll also break Jim Kelly's total touchdown record for the Bills this coming week too. I think he's only 2 away from that. So
Wow.
me and Jake could see some real history on Sunday.
I-
Maybe
I'm
he was
not gonna
playing his
I'm not gonna be upset with that, but until he gets to do what Jim Kelly did and at least get a shot at the Super Bowl, he's not touching Jimbo in my world. So
I know,
No.
I know. I just had to tease you, but yeah, it's still pretty cool though. I mean,
yeah, it
I
is.
was
No, it's
I
impressive.
was fooling around with a buddy, and I said, you know what? I'm curious if Allen plays as many games as Tom Brady, what can his final stats be? And he would beat Brady's touchdowns by like 60 total if he played 335 total games. But obviously, not many people are going to be able to do that. But I just thought I was like, you know what? I'm curious. He already has 240 something. Let's just see what his pace would be, and it'd be over 700 something touchdowns. So would I love to see that? Yep. Well, hopefully, Allen can take care of his body like Brady did. He's
yeah.
starting to listen to him, so maybe he will.
Yeah, that's interesting to say. I want to do two final stats for the game. The Bills are 8-2 for the first time since 1993. That's an incredible stat. Last time we were in the Super Bowl. Now, on the other hand, they did an interesting stat on the broadcast today, talking about the Bills compared to the San Francisco 49ers with Steve Young. They did this interesting stat where the first 4 seasons with the San Francisco 49ers, they did not get to the Super Bowl. In their 5th year, they got to the Super Bowl. And now you have Josh Allen here, 4th year in a row in the playoffs, winning the division. This is going to be the 5th year, most likely, that they will do that. Do they get to the Super Bowl and ride the ship after an 8-2 start? Last time we did that was when we went to our last Super Bowl. Maybe we can get it done this year.
I love it. I love it, Brett. Yes.
Yeah,
That would
Trek
be
could be right.
incredible. Poetic.
I thought that was strange to see a defensive tackle wear number 71, Quentin Jefferson. So I look, and the last defensive tackle D lineman to wear the number was Ed Fillion in 1994. All
Who was
right.
that guy from the Patriots and the Seahawks? He always wore the kicker shoulder pads, and he wore 70 something. Oh man, what the heck was his name? You guys know what I'm talking about? Jake, you probably know.
Michael Bennett. Oh, you're thinking Michael
Yeah,
Bennett. Yeah.
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 What was he like? 77 or
Yeah.
70
Yeah. He was 72.
or 79? 79,
He was
I think.
always in the 70s. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. Michael Bennett.
yeah.
DN. Yeah.
Made me think of him.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Weston's saying golf threw 5 interceptions. I had to check that, fact check it. It
That's
is true.
crazy,
They're
isn't it?
getting
Yeah.
unbelievable. So the hottest team, one of the hottest teams in the league. It just goes to show you any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday.
True.
Weston, yes. Let's see here. What did he say? He thinks the Bills are going to win, and I said it early in the show. You weren't on yet, Weston. I'm like, cool. I'm glad you guys are 9-0 because you're coming to Buffalo. Let the Bills be the one to spoil the perfect season. Let the Bills be the one. So let's go. Can't wait. And guess what? Buffalo's going to come into that game, and they have a bye the next week. So go all out. You know you got some rest coming. You got a nice little vacation. Let's go. Chiefs a little tired. They've been playing a lot of one-score games, and we're familiar with that. Wasn't it, Jake? Wasn't it last year the majority of our games were like one-score games? It felt like every game was like that.
That's right.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, even this year, you look at a lot of the and the last few games here. I mean, Dolphins last week. There's been, a few of those already this season. What I do love though, Mike, is to pivot from that.
Mhm.
7 out of 10 games this year, we've scored 30 or more points.
Oh,
That's really impressive. Even on a sloppy day like today, this team somehow put up 30 points and 415 yards of total offense. This is without Amari Cooper. This is without, Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid for a good majority of the game. Like, that is really impressive. Even given, these injuries and whatnot, this team can still be very dangerous on the offensive side of the ball. So, I'm going to go back to it. As long as we have JA-17, regardless, he threw 2 interceptions today, but there were still those moments of brilliance where it's like, oh my gosh, I mean, this offense still can be unstoppable, even with how poorly at times we looked. So definitely encouraging. Yeah.
I love it because, both sides, we get help from the defense. That's what you want to see. If you're not playing your best ball, that defense steps up. It's very much like the team we're going to be playing next week in the Chiefs. I do want to give a shout out to Matt Collins. Matt Collins,
yep.
There's been weeks where why are we treating Matt Collins like the number one on our team? But you know what? He's just that guy who he seems to make a play when you need it. And he had that beautiful play. Josh Allen kind of rolls to the right, escapes, and there's Matt Collins for a nice, beautiful 44-yard pass completion. He had 4 catches for 86 yards. He led the team. And he had 4 targets for 4 receptions. So perfect on the night. Khalil Shakir, our guy, pinball. Again, that's I'm coining that phrase, pinball for him. He's one of the top guys in yards after catch. I don't think he hurt himself. He was barely leading whoever was in second. I forget. They showed that stat. I don't know if anyone remembers who that was in second place. But he had 9 targets for 6 receptions.
Chase.
Is it Chase? Okay. 9 targets for 6 receptions. That hurts his little catch percentage a little bit. I still think he's in the 90s. He's the number one guy as far as catch. And some of those, there was one he had to dive out. It had to be incredible. And it's interesting that, I feel like some of these targets, they don't even get to him, but because it was going in his direction, they count that as a target. I feel like that's a little. It's a little.
The one today, I think they're going to actually count that as a drop because it did hit off his hands.
Oh.
At first, in real time, I'm like, that's kind of a ballsy throw by Josh. Tough throw to make. He had some guys surrounding him there, but Khalil Shakir kind of laid out, did go off his fingertips, unfortunately. So they may count that as a drop, which you never really see with him, but he makes up for it 1,000 times over every time. Big 30-yard play from him late in the game, which was awesome.
Yeah, Ty Johnson, a running back. It's the nice things we have. Looks like my camera went off. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyhow, we'll be going without a camera right now. It says I get a little message here. It looks like your camera was unplugged. Brett, did you do that? Unplug my camera? All right.
I did it from all the way in Florida. I ran a line all the way to California and just decided that I was going to unplug it, man.
Oh, nice.
I'm known for doing that. It's something about Florida and California. Our electricity never works. Our AC barely works. And now the lines don't work. So
I wanted to bring this up from a Trek viewer. I saw you put this out there earlier. Yes. So I was at Penn State this weekend. Voice a little hoarse. It was the whiteout game last night. It was incredible. By the way, boys, I tried to send you a text message 5 different occasions, and I was in SOS the entire day yesterday. I tailgated from 8 a.m. to about 6:30 p.m. We walked into the stadium, then game started at 8. It was, I got to say, Bills Mafia member here, right? Tailgate there definitely lives up. Very, very good tailgating experience. No one going through tables, but it's different, college football atmosphere. I would say a Buffalo Bills game is probably the closest you're going to get in the NFL to a college experience, but Penn State was electric. 110,000 people over the capacity that is actually allowed in the stadium. Standing room only. It was insane. Everyone got pom-poms. Mo Bamba was playing half the time. It was wild, and it was a 35-6 victory. Want to talk a little bit about Drew Ayler. Yeah, 6'5", 243, very similar size. Tried to do his best Josh Allen impersonation a few times yesterday, trying to escape from the pocket and whatnot. I wouldn't mind him. I think very still raw, but the fact that he's playing in this pro-style offense is good. I think the issue with Penn State, James Franklin just seems to struggle with developing quarterbacks. So, you've seen some guys go through Penn State recently. Trace McSorley, he lasted in the league a little bit. But, I think Drew Ayler, he's a raw prospect, probably a late-round pick, but wouldn't mind him. Great size for sure. And like you said, good backup for Josh maybe in the future.
Yeah, like that. Thank you, Jake, for that information. Let's see. On the offensive side of things here, I think I wanted to mention Dalton Kincaid. was injured again on that play that Josh Allen overthrew him a bit. He did come back. He went into half, I think, questionable. He did come back for a little bit, but then he was out for the rest of the game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. That's a big loss for us if he doesn't play against the Chiefs. I don't think it was too serious. I think I heard the Buffalo Shout team said they talked to him. Again, I could be wrong there. I was listening to that and trying to watch my son play soccer. So I think I heard that. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Again, you play, you got a week off. And then Spencer Brown, I think, Sean, you mentioned it earlier, he went down for a little bit. Looked like he twisted his ankle. So that's a little interesting there. Hopefully he's okay because he's been having a very, very good year. But who came in for him? Was it Alec Anderson that came in for him?
No, it was Vandermark. He did really good.
Yeah, dude, you see the block he laid out there? I mean, that was
that was a big play.
Yeah.
Jake, great hit, brother. I love it. That's awesome, man. So he hit the alt under 51.5 for Khalil Shakir, 25 plus receiving yards. What'd you throw on that sucker? What was the payout? Great to see you. By the way, let's link up. I know you're going to be going to this game this weekend. I will be there with Sean. So would love to get together. That'd be awesome, man. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
Everyone, take a second. I always forget to ask you, please smash that like button for us. If you're new to the channel, which I don't think most people in here are new, but if you're on the rewatch, you're new, you catch us, please drop a nickel on the subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. But definitely hit that like. Just take a second. It's free. Helps us out a lot. Thank you for everyone that's out there. All right. I think we covered the offense. I want to quickly get over to the special teams, and then we'll finish this out with zeros and heroes. But let's start with the special teams. Tyler Bass, Brett, I mean, that 61-yarder has lit a fire under him. I mean, he's coming out. He had to kick, what, a 47-yard extra point because of a penalty Spencer Brown got. But he's been on fire, dude. Everything's straight down the middle. Love what we're seeing, Sean.
Yeah, I'll mention this. I mean, I said it earlier in the chat. We need to give some love to the special teams unit with Sam Martin as well, kicking the ball inside the 20-yard line. And then you have Tyler Bass. And this is the first time in a long time that we've seen his swagger back. And that's when he's dangerous and he can make every kick. When you have a guy like Tyler Bass whose confidence is down low, I've been in these situations, not only in football, but also in other sports. And when you lose your confidence, that's when you're at your all-time low. And to have the whole entire team last week have his back, and pretty much Dawson Knox, I don't know if you guys saw it on the mic'd up of the game. He said that, you're going to make this kick. You're going to come in and you're going to kick the game winner. And sure enough, Dawson Knox was right. Kicks the 61-yard game winner to beat the Miami Dolphins. And now he's making almost every single kick. I'm not nearly as scared when he's on the field and he's going to make a kick, and have an opportunity to make a kick as I was a couple of weeks ago. And that's a good feeling to have. And when you don't hear from a kicker and you don't hear from your special teams unit, that's the best time to be a fan of your team, when you don't have to worry about them. So the one thing I will say from the special teams unit that I did not like, Brandon Cogrington muffing that punt. That's what scared me a little bit in this game, and could have been an opportunity to put the game back in the hands of the Indianapolis Colts if we didn't recover that. But thank God Alec Anderson was able to get the ball from in between Cam Lewis's legs.
Hey, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Brett turn into you? Because did I not say Sean or did I say Brett? I'm confused. I thought I said
you did say Sean. I'm like, did he mean Brett or Sean?
Brett just jumps in there, but okay.
You said Brett at first, and then he said Sean.
Yeah,
so
you said Brett first.
Okay,
and Sean.
okay.
But it's okay. But yeah, I mean, the kicks, Bass was good. My pick of he's going to have his best year is still in play. He's at an 86% field goal percentage make, so that's pretty good. And Sam Martin's been balling out this year. Obviously, Reed Ferguson with the snaps, pretty solid. And like Brett said, I mean, Codrington, last couple weeks, he's been making boneheaded decisions. He took the first kickoff of the game, 5 yards in the end zone, took it to the 23 instead of just taking it to the 30. And then, the Quentin Morris pushed the defender into him and made him fumble. So on Morris and, Codrington for not being more aware, fumbling the football. Luckily, we got it back. But if you're 5 yards deep in the end zone, just let us get it at the 30. I'd rather be at the 30 than the 22. I know he's special, but it's just, especially the first play of the game. Let us get to the 30 and see what happens.
Yeah,
And
right.
then, and then the fumble. And then last week he fielded a punt inside the 10 instead of letting it go. And, it is what it is, but he still made some great plays for us, so far this year. And I don't want to take his abilities away, but I'd prefer if at least on the first one of the game, you let us get it to the 30 so we can have a better start to the drive.
Yeah, Sean, you mentioned something that was really important, the Quentin Morris blocking in that situation. That has something to do with Reggie Gilliam being inactive. And I want to give a little bit of a shout out, Jake, because we haven't mentioned him yet today.
Yeah.
2 games in a row of him being inactive with a hip injury. That hurt the Bills a little bit, but he did a great job in blocking situations on kickoffs for the Bills. And you saw a couple times where he was back there as the second returner in those situations to be a blocker. And this is the week that we didn't see him, so that hurt the Bills in their special teams coverage.
Amen, brother. A lot of people don't understand what 41 does for this team. I know it's just a fullback, but there are little things, specifically on the kickoff, where he serves a purpose, and it's hard to fill that position with just anyone. Quentin Morris, I thought, did a nice job, like you said, too. And, it's kind of cool to have a guy that can play both tight end, fullback position. I feel like both Quentin Morris and Reggie Gilliam can do that, by the way. Both Mac school guys. Love to see it, Toledo and Bowling Green. So, yeah, I'll second that. By the way, yes, Jake, same spot. We'll see you there. Wingnuts Saturday night, too, if you're interested. Sean and we discussed it. We're going to be going out there on Saturday night. So I'll pick you up if you're around. So let me know.
Please shoot some video there, please.
I definitely will. Yes, I will be on that. Yes.
Go
Sean will be my accountability guy.
I got his name right this time. Go KU1. Yep. Congrats to the Bills on their blowout win over the Chiefs next week. Whoa, what? We obviously don't want to really try till the playoffs. Okay. I mean,
he's trying to curse us.
I love it. He kind of does some reverse psychology like Sean likes to do.
So my dad said shirt giveaway today. Go KU1. You did win a shirt. So drop us a message or join the Discord. He's in the Discord. Let us know what the.
I don't think so.
I think so. I thought he did join. No.
All right. Well, let us know. Go KU, because you have a Nickel City Mafia, and we want to send you one. But we're kind of pressed for time, Big Al. So I'm gonna
we'll do two on the next one.
Yeah, we'll do 2. We'll catch up. But I need to ask. Chad won. Did Chad win or Weston win? And did they get
Weston?
That sent off?
Funny story about the Weston one. So Weston, I actually got yours that I had sent back to me. It was redirected. I don't know what happened. I thought it was lost in the mail, but they sent it back to me. I will be sending it back out to you. So that's good. We were able to recover it. So I will get on that ASAP.
You don't think it was Weston saying, hell no, I'm not wearing a Nickel City?
No, he said he's excited about it. He's like, you know what? Right. He's going to wear it to work like, too.
No, sorry. You got the wrong house. What he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what happened. If it got rejected or just sent to the wrong, I have no idea, but we are.
Did we take care of Chad? We got to get Chad. We got to take care of Chad.
We got to do Chad. Yep.
Let's get his information. Chad needs to get one. A-stat.
Yep.
Maybe before the show, we'll have them both wearing Nickel City Mafia shirts when we talk to them.
That would be good on the post game. And listen, cherry on top if the Bills do win. Wow, that would be something.
Well, they're not feeling very confident with the way the team's been playing, but good teams win ugly games, and they keep doing it, and they're 9-0. It's very impressive. So we'll see. Let's be the one. Let's be the spoilers. Let's make the Miami Dolphins super happy this Sunday so they can pop the champagne and continue to be the only team that had an undefeated season. All right. So we talked about pretty much every offense, defense, special teams. Let's get into the heroes and zeros. Let's be quick about it. Everyone gets 1 hero, 1 0. We'll start with Brett for your 1 hero and your 1 0.
My hero this week is going to be Taron Johnson. He had a big day today, sack and an interception. That's my hero of the day. My 0, which will surprise you a little bit, is Josh Allen. Even though he had the 1 touchdown, I felt like he left a lot out there on the field. Could have done a lot better, and he needs to step up next week against the Kansas City Chiefs and put this game behind him, learn from it, and make good throws, good situations, and get healthy with his wide receivers back in Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman, because we know that we held them out so that they were healthy for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, go KU1. Basically, I haven't put it yet, but I'll drop a link in the description of the show. You can use your phone, and you basically click on that link, and it'll take you right to the Discord. It'll have you install, and you'll be right in the Nickel City Mafia Discord. I'm sure. I'm sorry, Brett. I was coughing when you were saying your hero. Who's your hero?
My hero is Taron Johnson. My zero is Josh Allen.
Yeah, I heard the, and I guess I mean, good thing we're at the end of the show because I feel like people saying zeros Josh Allen. That's a bold statement, but I mean, he didn't have a great game.
Yeah.
But let's go to Sean's heroes and Sean's zero.
Matt Collins for the hero,
Nice.
and
Love it.
and Joe Brady is a zero because every game when we're in the red zone on 2nd and 10, he runs a quarterback draw for 0 yards. When you could throw a screen pass, you could throw a slant route, you could throw an out route, you can even do a QB sweep, but you just run it right up the gut with no lead blocker besides the line, and you run into an 8-man box, and it's just a waste of a play. And you're getting your quarterback in a situation where you shouldn't want him to be in. And then he didn't even play Ray Davis today. I thought he was injured the whole day, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He had one carry, and he didn't even use him for receiving. So that's not something you want to do, especially because he's been so hot. So gonna need Joe Brady to not be a zero for the next 4 weeks because it's a really tough stretch, and it's a lot of tough teams that we can't be making mistakes. We can't have slow starts. So he's my zero.
All right. And who was your hero?
Matt Collins.
Oh yeah, I love that. Good choice on Matt Collins. He deserved it. Well deserved. Let me see here. We'll catch up real quick. If we lose next week, says Weston, I'll be happy because I want to get the undefeated pressure out of the way. I can understand that. Love the show, fellas.
Thanks,
Tommy
Tommy.
from Mafia Sports Report joining in here. Smash that like button for Nickel City Mafia. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Tommy. Go KU1. Yep, we'll put it in there. And you can also email. Like if you have any questions, you have any difficulty, you can email nickelcitymafia@gmail.com. We'll help you out. We'll get you set up. We'd love to have you in the Discord. We have Chiefs fans, we have some Dolphin fans in there. No Jets fans. We don't allow that one. That's the only one we don't allow. But join us there. It's a lot of fun. We talk sports 7 days a week. Good guys out there. And still waiting for our first female. I tried to get Jessica. We're still waiting for that first female in the Discord. We'll get one. We'll get one soon. And then see. All right. So Jake. Yep. There you go. Somebody put it in there already. Your hero. You're zero, sir.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to give my hero to Khalil Shakir this week. I should have done it last week, and I think I owe him one this week. Continues to make impact plays when he needs to. I mean, Josh Allen on that one throw, the screenplay where Khalil takes it 30 yards up the field. I mean, this guy, he leads the NFL in yards after the catch, and he made some really, really important plays today for us. And he's just his hands are just a honing device for the football. I freaking love it. So got to give him my hero status. My zero, I would say, would be the Rook, Brandon Codrington. We mentioned it, that fumble. That was tough, man. You can't, as explosive and as good as he is, it's a little scary sometimes because he's had some ball security issues. So I would say that would be my zero for today.
All right. I love it. I love it. Now, my hero could be Cam Lewis. I have every right to say Cam Lewis should be the hero. However, I feel like Taylor Rapp is my hero today.
That's a good choice.
Had an interception.
Kazoo. The new Kazoo.
The new Kazoo had a nice play downfield, keeping Jonathan Taylor from going all the way on that 58-yard run. So he is my hero today. For me, zeros. Oh, this is a tough one. Again, I'm gonna go with the one guy who had the fumble, Codrington, and that's gonna be my zero for the game. Anyone else out there in the chat? Who's your zero? Who's your hero today? And what do you got here? If the Dolphins lose tomorrow night, the rest of the AFC East will have a combined total of 8 wins. Yes, that's insane.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Let's take a second to talk about that. We got like 2 minutes left. We got to get out of here. But dude, the Jets getting whooped by the Cardinals today. This I mean, are we going to be able to take the rest of the season off here? Surely.
I think
Wrestling on
Anthony
the
started his draft prep. I think he's
Oh
officially
my
going to be moving
goodness.
on to that. So yeah,
Anthony's probably happy that the AFC Summit has been taking a vacation because complete embarrassment. And then the Dolphins. Who do the Dolphins play tomorrow?
the Rams. Which you know
Oh.
what? I actually think the Dolphins will pull one out tomorrow night.
Yeah.
The Rams, no joke. Is that in LA?
Yep.
Or
I think it
okay.
is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be traveling there as well. Good stuff. So that kind of does it for the show, everyone. I want to appreciate everyone that joined us for the full hour. The rush hour. Typically, we're never under an hour, but got some, got some things to take care of tonight.
Mike's got to watch Yellowstone. Don't let him kid you.
Don't put it out there. Yellowstone. If you're not a Yellowstone fan, what's wrong with you? I mean, we've been
It's a
waiting
great
for
show. I
years.
just started it, so I hear you. Yeah.
Binge watch that thing. It's incredible. But anyhow, appreciate all of you. Please like, comment, drop a nickel on us, subscribe, and share. Share with others. We'd love to get kind of sticking around 1985. We want to get to that 2000. We got 1985 subs right now. Help us get to that 2000. And Chad the Chief, you got to watch it. Check it out, man. It's fantastic. I tell you, I'm not kidding. But anyhow, Chad and Weston, figure out a date. Let us know in the Discord what night this week works for you. And I'll go, if later, if late works, great. Let's see. Ricardo Green, haven't seen you before. Thanks for joining us. He says, Jets are done. Stick a fork in them. Yeah, they're done. What the complete embarrassment. Can you imagine, Aaron Rodgers in New York City? They bring in Devontae Adams, hasn't helped them. They won the one game, but my gosh, what has gone wrong? That's a whole nother show, people. But anyhow, Bill's looking good for the AFC East. So everyone have a good one. By the way, just a reminder, the Red, White, and Ruthless will go live Friday night because Sean is traveling to Buffalo to meet up with Jake, and they'll be at that Chiefs game on Sunday. But they're going to go live, Brett and Sean, Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and you might see some other stuff on the Nickel City Mafia this week, especially if we can get Chad and Weston to join us for another pregame show.
Yeah.
I want to
If
talk
you
to
guys,
those fans.
Mike, if you guys want to, Jake, and I don't know if Jake would be able to, but if you want to bring Chad and Weston on Friday night with us,
Okay.
that's cool.
Oh, there you go.
Like I said,
Yeah.
because Jake and I will be out Saturday night anyway, and then Sunday we'll be at the game. So if you wanted to get them all on, we can just do it on our show on Friday night. Doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a 3-hour show, but you guys are all welcome, obviously.
Yeah, love it.
We're actually going to see
Everyone.
the Shout Guys live at Wingnuts
Oh
Saturday
yeah,
night.
that's right.
We'll
They're
be with
there.
them.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
We'll be
All
listening.
right.
So
I want to see you guys. I want to see you raise your hand and go up there because they take crowd participation. So get up there, tell them you do Nickel City Mafia, and let's go and take some Nickel City Mafia signs to the stadium like you did last time. It actually
We will.
It made it on the game. So they showed that on the cameras. Good stuff.
yeah.
All right, guys, take care. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Take care.